Hello, and welcome to the Dreamworks Dummies. Using your touch-tone keypad, please enter the first three letters of the movie title you would like to see. You've selected The B Movie. If this is correct, please press 1 now. Hello, and welcome to Dreamworks Dummies, the only Dreamworks podcast presented by self-proclaimed non-experts. I'm dummy number 1, but you can just call me germdove.
I'm GameQueued, and I'm dummy number 2.
And I'm...
Yep.
Dobbs, it's been a year. Has not one of us figured out which one of us is the third one here?
I haven't really thought about it.
You could be the third one, and I'll be... Oh, I said it. I said the word!
You already said it. Wow, that was cool.
Oh, you
really
won.
fast,
I'll
for the
leave,
record.
and you can do it.
No!
Because I don't want to be here.
I'm not saying that word for the rest of the podcast. That's it. Just no more. If I say that word, punishment. I don't know what it'll be.
You are going to be fighting.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Strap in, folks.
Move on. Oh,
All right. So, this year?
Yeah.
We'll call it weekly.
Let's just keep the illusion up.
Yeah.
It's a week after last year, yes.
Yeah. We decided that we're going to watch another DreamWorks staple, the B Movie. And I think all of us thoroughly enjoyed it, and that's about all that needs to be said.
Disagree.
Good night, everyone.
See you next time.
Did I watch the wrong movie? Because there was this movie, I searched for it, and it said Maya that word movie. That was the right movie, right?
Yeah,
No.
that's close.
That was okay. Good, because that was like the version, like the grandparents saw it in the $2 bin at the store and was like, she's been talking about this movie. Let's buy this. This must be it. That was not it.
I mean, it didn't live up to the pattern we've seen over the last 51 weeks of episodes that we've been doing. The other DreamWorks titles that we've been watching.
Dobbs, can we swear in this?
Well, it's a kind of a family-oriented, DreamWorks as a company, and I'm gonna lean towards probably try and keep it family-friendly.
Noted. All right. Well, this movie was absolute horseshit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to say it. I wish we watched Spirit instead of the Summer On, or maybe just Turbo again.
Ugh. No.
Now there's a throwback. Wow, episode 1.
That was a while ago.
Last week.
All those episodes.
Where do we even...
I don't even know what I thought. I've got an entire list of complaints. I have a list as long as my arm of complaints.
Yeah,
I've got this.
I'll level with you. I was kind of barely paying attention.
I mean, that's fitting.
Perfect.
This movie wasted no time. I was 2 seconds before I had to pause the movie and write notes. Because the DreamWorks logo shows up, and a bee shows up and attacks the child on the moon.
A very
right
large
away.
bee. Yeah.
Yeah, and he takes over the whole situation. And I was offended. Right off the bat.
I thought you were referring to something else, because when after the titles are over and it opens up, we see this bee that's standing on the screen, and he's completely naked, and he is using honey for everything. He's using it as soap, mouthwash, deodorant.
You're just gonna barrel right past the narration introduction.
Oh, by all means, go ahead.
I mean, it's such an iconic moment in film.
Oh,
the
whole speech about how they shouldn't be able to fly, but they don't care.
Shouldn't what?
Oh, I said it. gosh! Oh, this is going to be the whole podcast. I'm going to be doing it. Say it again.
My favorite part is when Turtle's mic peaks out and it just starts cutting him off. He just goes dead silent for a while.
I'm pushing him back a little bit. I'm pushing him back.
There we go.
I actually missed that part of the movie because my vision had gone red on account of the rage from the first thing where the bee was on the moon. Anyway.
What enraged you so much about the bee on the moon? Is it violating the sanctity?
Like, just let the boy do his job. Like,
what is his job? Moon fishing? That's not a real job.
He only gets to do it whenever they make a movie, and he just came over and knocked him off.
I'm afraid to talk because I don't want to end up saying the word.
It's a very common word.
It really is.
I really don't know if you're going to be able to avoid that at this point.
Self-awareness. That's all I got to do. Self-aware.
Much like the movie. Being it wasn't really.
It really wasn't.
It felt like it was quite genuine. Unfortunately.
Except at the times when it wasn't. Like when it was
sure what it wanted to be.
They definitely wanted to throw some celebrity cameos at us.
Yeah.
I think that probably was the original idea for the movie was Mr. Seinfeld just sitting around and thinking of how he could interact with other famous people.
This is before he realized he could just drive around and drink coffee with them, isn't it?
Which is it's interesting. Easier. It's interesting too because he has a pretty famous disagreement with one of the celebrities in this, but we'll get to that when we get there. Who's Ray Liotta? That's not the person, but who is that? Can somebody tell me?
He won an Emmy for his performance on ER.
We're really skipping ahead. I got notes about that part.
Well, no, I just as a thought. I need to get on the IMDb page and
IMDb what?
Oh, nice dodge there.
No, that doesn't count. That's the letter. that might count.
All right, so we open with a terrible narration that's just kind of there.
I don't really understand why it needed to be there because it doesn't really add to anything.
They referenced it at the end. Maybe originally they threw in that reference at the end because oh yeah, everybody's heard that quote. But then they're people don't know what we're talking about. We've got to make sure from the beginning. Like, all right, we're setting up this one, not even a joke. It's not even a throwaway joke. It's more of just like a slight piece of a speech.
Like just a very minor plot point that, I mean, it didn't matter at all.
Are they trying to set up that these are magical creatures? Like, what is it exactly that
I don't know what they were going for as far as like, it's like, it's not a normal, Earth as we know it because we have sentient bees, which that's okay because a lot of movies you're going to have just assume Earth except for, the bees actually have, technology and do stuff, but, that's it. But
pretty much all the bugs talk, though.
Yeah, they throw up, then they keep throwing in actually, bees all have an agreement that they won't talk to humans, but the humans can hear them talk if they talk out loud, except for the times where it doesn't, where it's not relevant for that to happen. And then we just ignore that rule.
They do this with bee lore. That's my next note, and it's very early in the movie. So,
all right, bring on the bee lore.
So that Matthew Broderick best friend bee, right? That's his
Adam.
friend? Yeah. Wow, he had a name? All right.
I didn't know that either.
I took notes, and I don't have his name. Anyway, he was saying about how their friend stung somebody, like a squirrel, how they get one sting, and he wasted it on a squirrel. Illustrating, you sting somebody, you die. And then not 3 minutes later, they walk by a sign that says, bee goes berserk, sting 7, then self. So now what is this? We're just fast and loose with the bee rules? Like
Yeah, I
later, he
didn't
does
catch that,
sting
but-
someone. He loses the stinger, but he only gets to do it once because he loses it. How do you sting 7 people and then yourself?
I didn't
Come on.
catch that, but that's actually kind of a funny joke.
But it flies in the face of the established bee lore / the rules of bees.
I think it's to the point where I should be outraged about why do they have cars?
Because that's how you do a DreamWorks movie. Is you have these things that normally, are just this, it's a bug, animal, and then you give them a society, and they have cars and houses that look like something thematic.
He flies across an entire city down an interstate at some point. I mean, it's just whatever. But the hive, you got to drive across that.
Well, yeah, because they have traffic laws.
It's
Otherwise,
a
they
movie.
couldn't sell
Everybody has
cars.
cars.
No, like cars.
It's a,
The notable exception to that rule.
They don't have cars. Well, they have cars.
They are the cars.
They are the cars. So it's Barry's day to graduate. He's spent 3 days in elementary school, 3 days in high school, and 3 days in college. That's a life well spent. Well, except for that one day that he took off to do something. I can't remember what. So
I think we're probably going to come back to this later because given that time frame for how long he has lived as a bee and how long the rest of the events of the movie take, I think there's some pretty obvious discrepancies.
I also had a problem with that.
Are you guys implying that the Bee Movie is inconsistent with its bee lore?
I am implying that some things may not be 100% factually accurate. Yes.
I've got some notes about the bee timeline later on. When we get to the Ray Liotta section.
I expect to see some like red yarn thread kind of drawn across a large board.
It's all connected.
If it was a short amount of time, then my goodness, those trees died quickly. That's
yeah. Well,
that's later.
Yeah.
Many complaints.
So it's time for Barry to graduate, which they have somewhat every 15 minutes. What I'm gathering from their time,
because they don't live very long. They have to have fast graduations.
Oh, that's fair. And it's time to pick a job at Hunex. Now, I also have another joke. They really, really push the joke. She's my cousin.
A few times.
They really like that joke. Your parents are related, and they really like that joke.
I want to point something out that I bet nobody caught.
Okay.
Are you ready for this? Hang on.
Okay.
I gotta make sure. All right. The Hunex. This was in the credits.
I actually
I
saw it. Yeah.
The Hunex name is used with the permission of such and such and such and such, and Hunexpra, Leicester, England. Like it's apparently a real company, and they had to get permission to use the name
because they wanted to use a name that they didn't make up themselves.
Yeah, why could
I think it was more that like they probably just got too far into the movie and like,
we've already drawn all this.
We
didn't Google that though.
We've used the name of the infamously litigious company, Hunex.
Are they a honey company?
You know what?
I don't know. I would think so.
Maybe they sell Huns. You can get you an Attila any day of the week.
I mean, given some of the content of the rest of the film, I think that they should have realized that food companies are litigious.
That's a big plot of this. A
lot of courtroom scenes for this kids movie.
You guys got to check out the website for Hunex. Hunex.co.uk.
Oh, that sounds like something that would give me a virus.
No. This is good stuff. This is good TV right here.
Makes for. How do you spell Hunex?
It just
I'm gonna put it.
Just don't Google sweet honeys.
Is it Honey X?
Stir.
So it's a bee collector service.
I found the construction company.
No. I put the link in the chat. This. Oh my gosh.
This is the guy that they had to work with. This text website.
It's beautiful.
This website. I was gonna say from the mid '90s, and then I scrolled down and looked at the
copyright 1996.
Wow.
But they've apparently updated it since the Bee movie. Like, notice in the spotlight section, DreamWorks approached Hunex PR for their Bee movie.
Wow.
They got a little animated GIF or GIF of a bee. It's like got 3 frames of animation spinning around.
That looks like the kind of animation I would make.
We're gonna post this thing, and then he's gonna approach us like within minutes.
Oh no!
We've disturbed his hive.
They've got a link to Slavonic translation services on their website.
I noticed that.
What is this? And it's not a secure site. They're not up to date on their HTTPS.
That is some blocky word art on the bottom of this.
Yeah, that's the link to the translation service.
That is nice.
Maintained by Hunex.biz, which just goes to the exact same site.
They did spell it differently in the movie, though. They spelled it with a dash, I think. I think it was like HONE-X or something, possibly. Or maybe I just wrote it that way.
It might have just been stylized differently.
Yeah.
No. The DreamWorks wiki clearly shows there's no dash in the logo for Hunex.
Oh well, see, it's one of those misremembered things.
It wasn't using Times New Roman in the movie. They had to actually design it, unlike this guy.
Anyway, so it's time for the graduation, and it's time for him to Barry to pick a job. He's going to pick a job, which his dad wants him to become a stirrer, just like him, a stirrer in the factory.
Because that's what he did, and once you pick a job as a bee, you have to do that job for the rest of your life. And this is the most disturbing thing for Barry.
He's not on board.
Why only Barry? That's the real question that comes. Why is only Barry the only one that's aware enough that, am I really going to waste my life doing this?
Oh, you see, he's different.
It's not like the other bees.
Yeah.
That's fair. At this point he's warned not to shack up with a grasshopper. Or suggest that he's going to shack up with a grasshopper. Now this is just the beginning of the racial disparities of this movie. The extreme number of racial disparities. A joke will come later asking if someone is bee-ish, which clearly, referring to the Jewish nature of Jerry Seinfeld. Such.
Or how he's going to go around calling people dog.
Yes. There are a lot of things that just wouldn't fly.
You can say that one.
Throw in a little
let's
there.
That just wouldn't fly today. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, you have to listen to the known laws of aviation.
That's fair.
Was that all right? Someone fill me in. Was this before or after Jerry Seinfeld's kind of brush with cancellation?
I don't know about his brush with cancellation.
Did he have a brush with cancellation?
Did he? Maybe he didn't.
You might be thinking of.
He just instantly turned hateful. Like let's talk about that for a second. It's just Jerry Seinfeld instantly just became hateful. They said that they offered an extreme amounts of money an unbelievable amount of money to do one more season of Seinfeld, and he just said no.
But why?
I feel like the show was billed. It was billed as a show about nothing, and he didn't feel that it was a show about nothing. It was a show about 4 people living their lives and the fun that they get into, but it ended up being a show about nothing, which they reference in their pitch, like a show within a show pitch to be a show about nothing. So I feel like he got insulted at one point and just went off the rails angry, and it showed in a lot of interviews, red carpet things. If you Google like Jerry Seinfeld and Kesha, Jerry Seinfeld and Larry King, there are a lot of clips. He's just hateful now. Like, that's just it.
I just always heard that he wanted to end the show before it started getting tired and bad. Like, he wanted to go out while it was still quality. And so he made a quality show right up until the end, made a terrible finale, and then ended it.
It was a bad finale.
I was going to say that I've only seen one clip of Jerry Seinfeld talking to Larry King.
It didn't go well. Which might be why they, later in the movie, kind of poke fun at, human world Larry King.
Just bizarre cameos.
They were. They were all...
Kids love those Larry King jokes.
They really lampshaded that for a while, too. Just want to really, really be like, gosh, isn't it weird that there's also a human Larry King?
Kids love Larry King.
No, he looks just like you.
During that bit, he also brought up bejesus.
But Jesus.
He did.
But
I can erase that note now.
I have that written down. I just love bejesus.
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 We skipped way far ahead of the movie.
We did.
Yeah. I mean, let's
fine.
Is anyone missing anything?
We skipped way past the rip-torn general. The guy from Dodgeball. The coach.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I don't understand why they needed a general to go and gather pollen.
He wasn't gathering. He was organizing the troops.
But I mean, they kind of do it on their own.
Well, it's different.
Well,
Okay,
because
sure.
they're different bees. Our bees are different
brings us
here.
They do
have cars.
That brings us to the point where Barry and his friend, what's his name?
Adam.
Barry and Adam want to show off in front of some lady bee. Yeah, I almost said it. I didn't. His cousins. Show off in front of his cousins. Which gets him into a little bit of trouble because he's lying and saying that he's a jock. Now, obviously, he's built for factory work and not jock work. But you know what? No one can tell him what to do. So he is going to try to blend in with the jocks and go out for a little bit of a joy fly.
I have no idea how that worked because they pretended like they were going to stop him, and then they just let him out, and nobody says a word to him.
Clearly very different.
Well, I guess they do say a couple words because he's reminded that it's bee law that they're not allowed to talk to humans. So apparently this has come up before in bee culture, but it didn't go beyond the colony or something, because you would think if all bees could talk, and even if they accidentally talked near humans, someone would know about it by now.
Very closely guarded secret.
See, obviously within the rules of this world, in order for a bee to communicate to a human, they have to have intent to communicate to the human. I think the movie could have explored that in more depth. Could have been very interesting.
There is one scene where Barry does more stereotypically talk like one of those creatures. That's a joke.
Yeah, the news people during the trial were like, "Can bees actually talk?" And they were like getting confirmation during the trial that is a thing. So that's something that people didn't know.
Or any bugs, really.
Aside from the initial bee-human contact, no one seems to care that much that, oh, yeah, actually bees can talk. Like, oh, okay. All right, we're just moving on.
Yeah, that was
cool.
fine. Continue the trial. That's fine.
Well,
Which is, I mean, that's fine, because, like, otherwise the movie's going to be incredibly boring of having the exact same, like,
whoa, talking bee.
grand revelation for everyone that they have to introduce into the story.
How crazy do you think the person was that got that letter saying that they were getting sued by Black and Yellow? I don't think I would find it credible, but they quickly accepted this as, uh-oh, there's a problem. Anyway, Barry's outside the hive now, and he's having a great time. He's having a wonderful time. Kites.
It made me so angry because he's flying with the bee jocks and they're talking about this big, huge, wonderful job that they have to do where they gather the nectar and they pollinate. And obviously the bees don't understand how pollination works because they're saying that that's what keeps
I never saw them pollinate
flowers
once,
alive.
by the way. Well, no, that's not true. At the end I did, but I mean, during the time.
That's what keeps them alive. Sure. You don't understand.
That's not how that works. It's just not how it works.
You're okay with the bees talking?
I am more okay with talking bees that drive cars than I am with flowers need to be pollinated to stay alive.
Well, I mean, if the bees...
That was pretty bad.
They're doing it, so there must be a world-ending reason that they do.
All right. Maybe this is kind of like the Matrix situation where, like, there's a major plot hole, and in the original script, it was all hunky dory. It made great sense. Like in the Matrix, they weren't using humans as batteries; they were using them for processing power of brains. Because, like, using them as batteries makes absolutely no sense. Human body is horribly inefficient. So maybe in this case, the geniuses behind B movie actually had a wonderful explanation for what was going on.
In the sequel that we never got.
Hey, look at that. They're yellow things. They must be flowers. That's the only explanation. They're circle, they're on the ground. Those have to be flowers. Nope. Not flowers. Those are tennis balls.
And they're sticky.
They're a little grabby.
They're a little sticky. And this is where we're introduced to the second half of this fiasco.
Patrick Warburton.
Well, I was going to say Vanessa Bloom because that's hilarious. Her name is Vanessa Bloom, and she is a florist of all things. He just happens... I mean, that's
with
true.
With a name like that, you have to be.
Let me be a brain surgeon, last name Bloom, I suppose. And they have their fun and all that stuff. And then we come to my least favorite part of this entire movie. Now, it's so early to have my least favorite part of the movie, but I don't know. Question. Was this movie made before or after Turbo?
I'm pretty sure it was before, but I know exactly where you're going with this.
This yellow-jacketed creature went into an engine, but he didn't come out as a turbo. He just went into an engine.
I think the difference is the type of engine, because this was just a regular internal combustion engine, which, by the way, doesn't kill a
Don't
bee.
make excuses for them.
But,
I mean, maybe that's where they got the inspiration for it.
It doesn't have the go fast juice that other car did.
Gasoline?
Yeah.
What?
No. The
nitrous.
Nitrous.
Go fast juice. Yeah.
You're telling me
Juice
that the
that makes you go
nitrous is the
fast.
difference? I mean, you just, if that's fine.
Yes.
I'm going to go get some
'cause it
nitrous
was-
right now.
You watched the movie.
I'm going to go add me some nitrous right now and see if I just can run fast. I will. I'll run fast directly to the bathroom.
I would
Yes,
suggest
please do not try that
against
at
doing
home.
that.
He gets in an engine.
Because a bee isn't slow, so you don't want to...
Wait a second. All right. I pulled up the B movie
That's a
Wikipedia
mistake.
page.
As you do.
As you do. I want to point out a couple things here. First of all, there was a B-movie video game, appropriately titled B-movie game. And guess when it was released?
When?
It was released October 30th, 2007, which doesn't sound very interesting until you hear that the B-movie was released November 2nd, 2007.
Yeah, the game can come out first.
I could understand.
They've got a window of marketing.
Yeah, they want to get their sales for the game before people get a chance to watch the
know
movie and see how bad it
That's
is.
actually pretty smart.
Consider Barry Benson appears in a video game before he appears in a movie. Does that not make him a video game character?
Oh.
Does that not make him eligible for Smash Brothers?
Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Maybe is he one of the bees that the villager uses?
Oh, that's how Sakurai got him.
There's also the
how they snuck
hive
him in.
item. They could be all those bees.
There's a lot of bees floating around now that we think about it.
Mess kind of looks like a bee.
So they got Barry Benson into the game, but they can't get to Master Higgins.
But I mean, we mentioned how he winds up flying through an entire engine, and he's fine. Before that, he was grabbed onto by that tennis ball. They play an entire game of tennis.
He never gets smashed.
Not once.
Not by the racket, not by the ground. Perfectly to the point where his back is to totally butter on toast every time. Somehow never got smashed.
They've wanted to see the Jerry Seinfeld bee get bisected by the wire of the tennis racket.
And then the Seinfeld theme plays.
Little pauses, the credits happen.
It's over. That's great. So we get away from the ball and out of the engine, and we're doing fine. But then the other thing that the general forgot to mention, the general also gave another rule: bees can't fly in the rain. I said the word.
You just it's a lost cause, Turtle.
Yeah, this is not gonna.
Those things can't fly in the rain.
That's the thing that's really
Not
dangerous.
The tennis ball, though.
I mean,
Not the tennis ball.
You get rain on you, and
you can find your way around that, but you can't dodge a water droplet. And where do we land? Where do we just happen to end up when we're trying to cover ourselves from the rain? Where do we end up?
Same people's house that were at the tennis.
How serendipitous? You know, what are the chances in a city of millions? How plot convenient.
I mean, I guess they must be playing at the tennis court that's nearest to them.
I mean, it's the only windowsill that you see that has flowers growing. Yeah, maybe.
Nobody else in the city likes flowers, apparently.
You have to be a florist. It's the only way.
So he flies into their home. He invades their home. They're entertaining guests.
Wait.
They see a bee near them.
What is the nature of the relationship between Vanessa and Patrick Warburton? They never really. This is really vague. She's never really happy with him. He's unemployed and miserable, and he looks like Gusteau on the front of the menu.
I think he's just trying to get in there.
He doesn't live there.
His boyfriend.
He doesn't live at that house, right?
I think he's there to kill bees.
Am I crazy? Or does he?
I'm not sure.
I don't think
he claimed a spot at the table. Like, that's where I sit.
He did, but she invited him over for dinner, and he didn't show up on time. She didn't mention that.
Yeah, that does kind of indicate that they're not.
And she's not
living together.
Interested that's
in sin,
and we don't want any of that in this movie. So it's kind of
Unless there's a bee involved.
They seem vaguely intertwined, like almost like they're courting, like, but not really dating.
I mean, that is where you play tennis
on a court. Boo. I just wanted to bring up the nature of their relationship. He doesn't seem terribly loving or attractive towards her, and she just seems continuously annoyed by everything he does. And his fascination
they're in a relationship.
Well, I mean, you win. You know what? You win this round. That was perfect. Go on. Don't let me interrupt.
So they're hosting dinner or yogurt.
Yogurt.
Yeah,
and
have friends over just for yogurt.
I don't think I. Surprisingly, I don't think I have.
Can you make your own?
And
Gert nights.
Gert night.
It's a very millennial thing.
It sounds like it would be.
It does.
Gert and avocado
on toast.
On toast.
Hey guys, want to come over and heat up some bread and put yogurt on it? Maybe pop on the B movie? Jerry Seinfeld?
No, absolutely not.
No.
And watch B. Larry King.
The kids love Larry King. Especially like each of his like 6 wives.
You know what? That's a good. Who is this movie for?
Who is this podcast for?
The movie is for Jerry Seinfeld.
All right, you know what? That's fine.
The question was brought up at one point is, what other movies have you seen Jerry Seinfeld in? Anybody?
I believe that this movie is the reason why we haven't seen him in any others.
That's good. That's for the best.
Because I actually went and did some research on this.
Okay.
Because everyone got so excited because he decided that, hey, maybe I want to do some movies sometime. And DreamWorks and maybe Sony, I'm not sure who all was involved with it, but they just could not throw enough money at it. Because the budget for this was like $150 million, which it has no business costing so much. And I think what I read was that he couldn't decide what he wanted it to be and wound up changing it multiple times through production. And that's something that gets expensive.
I want to be one of these. Now I want to be one of those. Oh,
yeah. I mean,
every time you want to make him blink different, it costs $1,000.
I mean, you can really see himself in his character because he can't decide what he wants to do.
Oh, are we about to get deep with this deconstruction of B movie for a joke podcast?
I think that's as deep as it can get. It was at this point that I paused the movie to see how much was left, and it had only been 35 minutes. And oh my god.
A whole lot happens in a very short amount of time, and then there's a whole lot of nothing.
Just like Seinfeld.
Yeah, that's okay.
Actually, yeah. You know what? It's like the movie does keep going. It has a habit of feeling like, okay, we're finally about to wrap up. And then it's like, nope, we still haven't gotten to the complicating event of this story yet. And like, okay, there it was. Now we can wrap it. Nope.
Which according to
law, Act 2.
According to the lore, he shouldn't have even lived that long.
Do we ever discuss B lifespan?
What is the lifespan of one of those?
I don't actually know, but I mean, if he's going through the entirety of school in 9 days.
And college, yeah.
Price is Right rules.
And his dad lives the whole movie.
Price is Right
Price
rules.
is Right rules. How long does B live? Closest without going over.
Oh, God.
14 days.
I'm going to say a month.
All right. Germ says a month.
I'm going to say 24 days.
I'm going to say 14.
I'm going to say a month and a day then.
1 day, Bob.
32 days, Bob. You can tell germdove is young because he didn't say Drew.
Drew, yes.
All right, a bee lifespan. Wait, let's see.
And I want to change my answer to 1 then, because then I've got any time between.
Bee lifespan. Western honeybee, 30 to 60 days.
Oh, 31 was too much.
Well, that could be.
No, sorry, Dobbs.
Yeah.
It looks like.
If only he
looks
lived
like-
60 days instead of 30 days.
So the theory is, after speaking to a human being, he had 20 days left of his life. And in that time...
Thank God he didn't serve any punishment at all for breaking the one rule of the bees, because he would have been in jail for the rest of the movie. But apparently they were fine
They
with it.
never bring that up either, do they?
He broke like the one rule they had. And they're like, well,
First
we're going
rule
to
of
sue these
beehive.
people, so we're going to get money out of it.
You don't talk about...
Don't talk. That's it.
Don't talk about... Yeah, okay. Patrick Warburton's going to squish him with a shoe.
Or he tried, but then what's her name?
That's
Bloom
Vanessa.
showed up
Vanessa.
and saved him.
We've got to
Good.
get through this faster.
We
There's a lot of movie left.
We are.
Yeah, I have so many notes.
Nothing happens.
He
I don't know
really wants to
how we're
thank
here.
her for saving his life, though.
So he does.
And he's trying to think of what he wants to say to her, and the first thing that comes to his mind is, "You like jazz?"
As one does. It's
a good conversation starter. I mean, now it's a terrible one because people will think you're referencing the Bee movie. Immediately cementing the idea that you don't want to hang out with that person.
Exactly.
But he thanks her with words in English. He breaks the rule. He goes back.
She stabs herself.
He
Do we mention that?
suggests the idea that he
Self-report.
might be in love with this person through his friend, Adam. And he says that he's got to start thinking bee. And then a lot of people start chanting thinking bee at him. And I'm like, oh God, they're going to make this into a song. But they didn't.
No, instead they showed this woman's death. She dies in a plane crash for some strange reason.
Well, that was a fantasy sequence. It's fine.
Yeah, but why? Who was that for?
The mantra of the movie.
Jerry
Who
Seinfeld.
was that for?
What in his mind made him think, because he's still pining for this individual after he drinks. Should bees drink coffee? I said it, but should they drink coffee at all, ever?
I mean, do you want me to look up can bees drink coffee?
Well, no, I imagine they can drink anything. I mean, but should they be drinking coffee? Probably not. That seems.
They really should be using honey when they do, because sugar is the competition.
Right.
I'm out of notes until we get to the sword tack fight. So
Okay, so it was
Get us
such an
there.
adventure for him to get out there and get to her house, but he can apparently get to and from the hive, and it's not a big deal after that.
It's not raining.
He needs his car.
He still doesn't want to pick a job. He doesn't know what he wants to do yet, but
Doesn't know what
he
wants
does know that
to
he doesn't know what he wants to be. Correct.
This is the point
He does.
when he tells his friend about this woman, this gentleman is rightly confused. This is the point where he asks, "Is she bee-ish?" As referenced earlier.
he keeps hanging out with the girl, and he realizes that they're stealing honey. There, we got there.
Yay.
The humans are stealing the honey from the bees.
Ray Liotta specifically.
Yeah, he finds a Ray Liotta branded honey.
And then he wants
And
to
he-
know how it
yeah.
is that they're getting the honey. So he goes back to the store under cover of darkness. Kind of.
Sure.
Oh yes, the bee whisperer, who also is not surprised that this bee is talking.
Yeah, he's just like, wow, bees can talk. I better threaten him. Better threaten this bee.
With a thumbtack.
And a box
And fight
cutter.
him.
The box cutter, which I thought when he pulled out the box cutter was probably the worst possible weapon to use against a bee. And then he manages to convince me that I was wrong, because then he switches to a push pin instead.
so they could have a sword fight.
It has never once crossed my mind to attempt to kill a bee with a pin.
And that's why you can't really work. You can't really work at DreamWorks. You don't have the necessary creativity.
That makes it a fair fight. You know, it's got to be fair about it. Not like Patrick Warburton, you know, wielding a shoe.
I mean, I guess neither one of them worked anyway, so.
Hmm.
But somehow, even the guy fighting him with a thumbtack isn't the most offensively weird human in the movie. Because from that interaction, he gets a lead to go to Honey Farms, where he finds two beekeepers on their
Cackling
own,
maniacally.
independently having a conversation about how dumb bees are and how honey is profit, which they must have this conversation every day.
Every single
Because they
day.
don't know they're being
20
watched.
times a day.
The orientation.
Just laughing.
That's the orientation.
Mm-hmm.
God, it's like a garbage man driving around, all these idiots throwing away their treasure, and I just get to pick it up, just cackling to himself in his truck. That's exactly what this is.
Yeah.
You like a ragged bonesman.
These stupid bees. Like, this isn't their first day on the... Oh, God, these people. And that's another note off my list.
But in the
They make the honey, and we make the money.
But by the way, on the way to the farm, we run into probably the biggest celebrity in the whole movie. We run into Chris Rock the mosquito.
Can't say he's the biggest celeb.
Well, I mean, but who is though? But who would you say is the biggest? Have we met them yet?
No.
Well, that's come to think of it, I guess there's one more that's even the biggest star.
Yeah,
up
there's
to
some big
this
names.
point. Yeah, the biggest star I feel up to this point, probably Chris Rock. And at the time, he's freshly making those Rush Hour movies too and stuff. You got to remember.
He just came off of Madagascar.
Oh yeah, that's true. See, he's probably
yeah.
at the moment, and he wants to get hopped up on moose blood, which crazy stuff.
Someone has to say it. Chris Rock
Yeah.
is not in the Rush Hour movies.
Oh, who was I thinking of?
That's Chris Tucker.
Oh, well, thank you.
Just throwing that out there. I don't want to get the letters. I don't know where the letters go.
Fine. To be fair,
Certainly not to me.
To be fair, I've seen neither of those movies, so I don't know. I saw this movie and I regretted it, so I don't think I will try.
I knew that was wrong, and you made me double check because you were so sure of it.
I'm not sure of anything. Have you not learned? It's at this.
This movie has made us dumber.
Yes. At this point, we're dummies. I mean, that's at this point, we learned that it's not just bees that can talk. I just said it again. It's fine.
It's also mosquitoes?
It's also mosquitoes and the other bugs. There were other bugs there, right?
Yeah, there was like a ladybug or something.
Yeah.
Some of them were dead, but...
Yeah, I assumed they talked when they were alive. We tried talking to them.
And the human... Wait, actually, this breaks down my intent theory about bug communication. Because the people driving the van can hear the screams of the bugs on the windshield.
That's very true.
Oh, no.
I also had a problem with the physics of that whole thing, by the way. Because when they get inside the horn, to shelter themselves, that wouldn't lower down the amount of wind. The horn is facing forward, so they would just be blown into the...
But does it go anywhere?
I don't know. Do you think it caused like a wind trap kind of thing where it's going to stop?
Unless there's a hole in the back, then yeah.
I mean, it has to have a hole somewhere, right?
Front.
Maybe, yeah. What, Dobbs?
You know what? I'm
defending these
I'm defending
people?
the B movie to spite you.
Why are you...
The B movie is nothing but a bastion of scientific accuracy.
$150 million of research into bee physics.
And they couldn't figure out that there was another company out there called Hunex by Googling it.
And why flowers are alive.
Why flowers?
Or how long a bee lives.
Well, and how smokers work and what they use for smoke, because I mean the beekeepers are talking about getting the bees
Addicted.
I don't know what the
or-
word is, but addicted to the nicotine that's in the smoke in the smoker gun. And that's not how smokers work.
I didn't think that was right. Like they just use like wood.
No.
They just use like wood, right? Like they don't use like.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, they're not giving tobacco to bees.
Yeah, but that ends up being a major. That ends up being a major like part of him winning his case.
Yeah, the smoking or non line,
That's
which I'm sure the kids really loved that. 'Cause that's
Between
still
that
a
and the
phrase
drag
that
queen
kids
joke.
hear all the time.
that's right.
There was also a drag queen joke.
Check that one off.
Yep.
Barry is outraged.
He's super mad. How dare humans take their honey? And you know what he's going to do about it?
What's he gonna do, Germ?
What's he going to do about it?
He's going to sue all the humans for stealing the honey. Because why not?
As one does.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
And then you have the chubby prosecutor enter the room, and you're like, okay, here we go. Here comes
John Goodman.
Newman from Seinfeld.
That's
But
what I
no,
thought it was going to
it's
be.
John Goodman.
freaking Goodman.
John Goodman. That's the biggest celebrity.
There we go.
Now he is probably
Very
the
big.
biggest. Yes.
Huge.
I would like to take a moment to recognize that Wayne Knight is resting in peace.
Right now, yeah. Not at the time though, right? He was still making Toy Story movies. Am I wrong? Maybe that's why he couldn't come, because he works for Disney.
Perhaps.
He's not dead.
Wait.
What are you doing?
Wait, Wayne.
I had to fact check that live. It sounded right.
GameQueued. It has never been more obvious that you've never listened to a single episode of the Disney Dunces.
Oh no.
The Who? Who are we?
Better not be giving other podcasts.
This is an idea.
I've never heard of.
Well,
of
they
it.
said nice things about us.
Well, they did.
You know, just because they listen to 100% of our episode doesn't mean I've got to watch 100 plus Cadet Kelly episodes.
Mm.
All right. Can we
Kelly.
can we speed run the trial here?
Let's do it.
Because you'd think this is the climax of the film.
But it's not. There's still 8 more other things they have to do.
Jeez.
So here's the thing. Here's my whole thing with the trial. Ray Liotta. Finally, we're here.
Yeah, he's there for
Ray
some
Liotta
reason.
comes out because he's on the bee. He's on the honey. There's the Ray Liotta's discount honey or whatever.
No, it's the gourmet.
And he's on the stand, and he does this line about, allow me to give you my belated congratulations for your guest spot on ER in 2007.
That was a shot.
Which is the same year that the Bee Movie came out. It was in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before I launch into this, I will say that is a joke that gets funnier with time. Because when you watch Bee Movie in 2023, congratulating someone for their thing they did a long time ago is funnier than the thing that happened in the last couple of years. That being said, after the trial is over and you see all the overlays of the newspapers about how the trial went hit the screen, there's dates on those newspapers.
Oh.
This trial happened in, I'm going to say 2007, when the movie came out. One of them's dated July 8th, 2007. One of them's dated July 7th, 2004. 3 years in the past. And then one is dated March 3rd, 2005. Just jumping all over time.
Well,
There's a
crazy
time
thing
machine
is-
involved.
man.
Continuity.
The crazy thing is that there's even days of the week on those newspapers. The days of the week line up with the dates they are. So they got that right. But for some reason, they jump back 3 years in the past. When they reference that giving someone congratulations for something that happened in 2007 is still belated. So this is late. And then we jump back to 2004. That's my whole thing on the trial.
And then speaking of jumping back, they also brought a bear to court.
We did do that.
who couldn't talk.
very polite, nice bear, a bear that they later reveal helped them out, and yet they still are mean to bears later in the movie. They're angry about how mean it is to put honey in bear-shaped bottles, but that bear was helpful and tame.
They also had Sting as a witness.
They did.
Another famous
The kids
person.
love Sting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could barely find a kid not humming "Don't Stand So Close to Me" in 07. I mean, you know.
Did they actually use any of his music in the movie?
No, just his name.
That seems like a waste to have him on board.
They already got the Beatles. How much more money can you spend on music?
That's fair.
They got $150 million.
That's fair. Speedrunning the trial. Barry wins.
Yay, we did it.
Barry wins the trial with his fake argument that they shouldn't be smoking. Because, you know.
Yeah, that made a difference somehow.
Yeah. Also, for some reason, they chose to put John Goodman in a baby walker.
It's because he got stung.
Yeah,
He did get stung, but why a baby walker?
He was selling it. He was overselling his entry.
It just seemed undignified.
I have no notes until he's surfing in the toilet, so let's keep moving.
Uh-oh.
I wrote that down.
Here comes Patrick Warburton.
He really wants to kill Barry.
He's finally figured out that there's a possibility that this grown woman could possibly have some sort of interest in his girlfriend? Love interest? Whatever you want to call it. So, sorry, Barry. It's time to go. What did he say? Drain the old stinger.
Did say that.
That
was a line.
That felt a little risque for this movie. That was the one line I was like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they should have said that.
That just means a bee dying, right?
They have a confrontation. Yeah.
I don't know.
They have a confrontation in the bathroom where he tries to kill him with all these different bathroom things and newspapers
set
and
him
whatever.
on fire. It teaches children the use of aerosol and lighters. Also, probably not the best thing for a DreamWorks movie for kids. For kids?
At one point, they've got him in the toilet surfing on a nail file, and I did not need to hear Jerry Seinfeld say "Surf's up, dude" or "gnarly."
Oh,
but that's in my head now.
That's a thing that happened.
That's a sound clip that lives rent free.
That was way cool.
Tubular, maybe.
Mondo.
Funky.
All right.
Time to get rid of the boyfriend. He can't be killing that bee. Bye, Patrick Warburton.
Yeah.
He keeps getting knocked in the head in the exact same spot, which is like every time it happens, I'm like, oh god, I hate it when that happens. Like
he was, I don't know what it was about him in that scene, but he was like scary.
Yes.
Like he was getting more and more frantic as he was leaving.
Which they did a good job of like making him look like Patrick Warburton. Maybe they could have made him a little more squinty. Like, because he's pretty squinty. From what I understand. From what I've seen of him.
So anyway, Barry won his court case.
Yay!
Yay!
And he demands and somehow manages to get every bee released from captivity. And all honey is returned to bees.
And that's it.
They just stop working.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
Yeah, the bees are literally being drowned in honey right now. So of course they have to stop making more honey because their hives are already completely full.
And because bees pollinating flowers keeps them alive, the world dies.
Yeah,
scientifically.
That's not how pollination works. And not only do the plants die, they die within a week because we have like a day-night transition, and you can see it cycles through day and night like 4 times. So this has only been a few days, and literally all plant life is dead now.
And if the point of the movie was to show like the delicateness of the ecosystem, that would have been poignant. It definitely would have been something to show. But that wasn't even the point of the movie. What was the point of the movie?
To show Winnie the Pooh getting shot.
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, that's my next note. Winnie the Pooh.
Why?
He is in the public domain now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
shirtless Winnie the Pooh.
He wasn't then. They were still making Disney movies.
And as a note, the narrator was Jim Cummings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In the movie or in that scene?
In B movie. At the beginning of the B movie.
That is good.
Oh man, I have to go back. I missed another joke.
Oh, good. I can't wait to go back so we can have more time with B movie.
I want to point out during the trial when John Goodman's trying to get somebody to sting him, he asks Barry, "Are you bed bugs?" Like, that's a great question. That's a fair question, really.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What is the nature of their relationship? Really, is anybody in this movie
never really clarify?
Is anybody in this movie's like relationship clarified? Not really. They just kind of exist and every once in a while bump into each other. Like that's just kind of.
Well, he was a bee, she was a girl. Could they be any more obvious?
Finally, someone that wasn't his cousin.
That's a tale as old as time, really.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, so let's get back to the plot of this children's movie.
Sorry.
Anyway, so the male lead and the female lead are talking about doing a suicide pact.
Yes.
As you do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
Trying to decide how to go forward with that.
Yeah. Well, it turns out that the Jerry Seinfeld bee would just be killed twice, so they put a pin in that.
Well, things have soured since the trial between Barry and Vanessa. She's definitely much more hostile now, which, by the way, she had a huge part in causing all of this, but now she's angry at Barry for it.
Yeah, she hates him for whatever reason.
Because that's how these movies go. That's the part of the movie we're at. Is that there has to be some event, and now we're at odds with one another. We have to go our separate ways, and then the hero has to have a revelation and know what they've got to do. And then they go do it, and then we can roll credits, and we can end the podcast.
That sounds great. Except we're missing the point where Jerry Seinfeld openly slaps a woman in the face.
A few times.
Repeatedly.
Several times.
Repeatedly just slaps this woman.
Never a closed fist.
Every subsequent hit can be self-defense, but the first time, that was just outright rage.
Yes.
I don't understand how he's still in one piece, because I guess you could make the argument that the tennis racket missed him. She was not missing him when she was slapping.
No, she was squashing for sure.
But he's in the air, so what are you're slapping or not?
Yeah, it's just slapping his face.
Just his face with your entire hand.
Face.
Your entire hand across his bee face, which would be like,
which is possible as long as it's
neck.
funny.
And making a slapping sound.
It's that same rule as intent with the bees and the voices. I think he doesn't intend to kill him.
We're learning a lot about the bee movie
will.
Universe. The Beeverse.
Hey, we're going to steal a parade float and fly it like 15 hours across the United States.
Mm-hmm. We just got to bring the flowers back specifically to New York.
Yeah, because she's always wanted to go to the Tournament of Roses, which isn't a sporting event. Flowers cannot participate in sports. But somehow, those are the last flowers that are in existence. And they pull off some incredible heist to get that float with the last flowers on Earth.
Mhm.
Sure.
Yeah. The movie's tone is a little bit all over the place, admittedly. Things that feel like they should be very important and everyone should kind of be concerned about. Everyone just kind of is like, all right, whatever. Yeah, I guess humanity's extinct in a matter of weeks coming up here. Oh, well.
Hijacked a plane,
Yeah.
whatever.
I think that the heist to get the flowers probably would have made for a more interesting movie than the court case, but
But you
I
know
don't
what?
know.
Jerry Seinfeld had some ideas.
Where did he get a pea costume on short notice? That's the question.
Spirit
Might just be a
Halloween.
pea.
That's fair. I mean, okay. Spirit Halloween sells a lot of
Pea-sized
pea-sized costumes for the.
bees.
He turned into a pea, you see, instead of a. Yeah.
So anyway, on the way back on the plane, Barry goes into the cockpit and
Hijinks.
he tries to talk to the pilots
He tries to
who are
talk them.
freaking out.
He tries to talk them out of taking safety protocols and delaying the landing several hours because of lightning.
You know, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
The only thing I was paying attention to was you have these two pilots, and the two pilots don't know that bees can talk, and they're losing their minds over it. And then after they get knocked out and they talk to air traffic control, well, of course, air traffic control knows all about the bees.
Oh, that bee from the trial.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not just, hey, bees can talk. Hey, this is this specific bee.
I know his name.
Humanity quickly adapts to the idea of, oh, bees are completely sentient, have a society all of their own.
That's why they have Halloween costumes for them now. It's a whole new market just opened up.
Yes. Okay.
The bees.
That
See? We brought it there.
excellent.
We're slowly unraveling the puzzles within the bee movie universe.
How different can flying a plane be than being a bee?
You managed to fit 4 bees in that sentence.
I did.
Yeah.
I
You
give
see, the
up.
difference is
It's almost over. I give up.
that bees can't fly in the rain, but it's a really good thing that airplanes can.
Also, it's a really good thing that all the other bees are able to come to the rescue of the plane by flying through the rain.
I don't
Faster than a
think-
plane to catch up.
Faster than
Grabbing the wet plane that gets all over their wings.
I don't think the bees know how fast planes are.
Because bees don't care about what planes do.
It's like Jerry Seinfeld doesn't care about how nature works.
That begs the question: how many bees would it take to raise an airplane to make an airplane fly?
You know, I think they did that on MythBusters, and
They got Jerry Seinfeld out.
they did a myth that was how much weight can bees carry, and once it gets up to, it's not even really that much, but when you have enough bees together all flapping their little bee wings, they wind up disturbing their air currents, and they can't collectively carry things.
Maybe if they were far enough away from each other. Optimal bee space.
But if they were on, say, a plane, that wouldn't work.
Probably not.
I'm sick of these MFing planes on my MFing plane.
What?
Bees. I don't know. I don't know.
You just didn't want to say bee
I
again.
tried not to.
Now there's a
I need to
movie.
word it up.
I was for those planes on the planes.
Planes on a plane.
Gosh darn it.
There's too many planes.
It's just
Too many planes.
Too many planes.
Yeah, they pollinate it. They bring the world back.
yeah,
Roll credits.
yeah.
Yeah, they did it.
But we're not even done then.
Oh, Jerry Seinfeld.
Because Bring It Back, I was so happy. I was so happy that they didn't make Thinking Bee a song. And then you stay until the very end of the credits. where the Thinkin' Bee song starts. And there's a whole Thinkin' Bees song.
Glad we got our post-credits
And
audio scene, at least.
yeah, I was like, I thought we dodged this. But no, it's this whole in-context song about Thinkin' Bee.
Also, 3/4 of the way through the movie, it feels like they just threw in their bee slogan, which is, what is it? We're not made of Jell-O. We help a fella. We help something. Get behind a fellow. Black and yellow. Hello. Hello. Like that seems to be very Seinfeld-ish. I don't know.
This was the worst. I've seen this movie 2 more times than should be required by anybody.
I think the only previous experience I had with B-movie was the memes. And I think it's really good meme fodder because it's absolutely terrible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Having seen it again, I now know that movie deserves every iota of crap it gets across the internet.
Every Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
Oh, we skipped over the whole Larry King thing.
We talked about him. He got in there.
We talked about him enough.
But Jesus, that's the best part.
Jesus.
Oh, thank God the next one of these isn't for a year.
Is it over? Are we done?
I think it is.
Oh, thank God.
Not that the movie's that bad. It's just very mediocre and doesn't do anything fun or interesting.
You know,
it just tells a meandering story that doesn't really go anywhere. It has a few jokes that they probably used all of them in the trailer.
I laughed.
It somehow made me look forward to Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron.
What you're doing next week,
wild.
Next week.
Horse. I had to say it once.
I just wonder if it's going to live up to to any of the last 51 episodes.
What could, though?
Leave your favorite episode in the comments below.
Don't forget to gently caress that like button.
Don't forget to dig the podcast.
And find out what all the buzz is about.
Well, this has been Dummy number 1. Good night and good bless.
Dummy number 2, this podcast is through.
And
I don't know.
We're the one of us is you're the okay.
Bye, dogs.
Good night. Bye.
Love you.
Bye.
Stay focused. That's all any driver can do. There comes a time in every race when a driver is forced to make that one key split-second decision. Take a chance and risk it all. Or play it safe and suffer defeat. Gentlemen, start your engines. Head in the game, head in the game.
Yes! 17 minutes! That's a new record! 'Cause he's going the distance.